Lieutenant Sophia Grant watched her daughter, Ensign Maya Grant, make the exact same mistakes he'd made 23 years earlier at the exact same hospital, and realized with sickening certainty that history was about to repeat itself despite everything Sophia had done to prevent it. Maya was going to be accused of stealing narcotics, just like Sophia had been. Maya was going to be investigated, tried, and convicted, just like Sophia had been. Maya's nursing career was going to be destroyed before it truly began, just like Sophia's had been, and there was nothing Sophia could do to stop it, because Maya, like Sophia before her, was actually guilty. The generational curse of the Grant family, talented nurses with addictive personalities who destroyed themselves in the same way. At the same hospital, despite knowing exactly what the consequences would be, Sophia had tried to warn her, had told Maya about her own conviction and disgrace 23 years earlier, had begged Maya to learn from her mistakes. Maya had promised she would, had sworn she'd be different, had believed she was stronger than her mother. She wasn't. And now, Sophia was watching her daughter circle the same drain she'd circled, watching history repeat with the precision of a Greek tragedy. This is a story about how some patterns cannot be broken, how knowing history doesn't prevent you from repeating it, how the sins of the mother become the sins of the daughter despite everyone's best intentions. Sophia Grant had been a promising young Navy nurse at Naval Hospital San Diego, 24 years old, fresh from nursing school, dedicated, compassionate, excellent clinical skills. She'd also been prescribed painkillers after a car accident. Legitimate injury, legitimate prescription, legitimate use. Until it wasn't legitimate anymore. The pain faded. The prescription ran out, but the dependency remained. Sophia found herself craving the medications, needing them to feel normal, unable to function without them. She tried to get legitimate refills. Her doctors said no. The injury had healed. No medical justification for continued opioid use, so Sophia started stealing, small amounts at first, medications marked for waste that she pocketed instead of disposing, patient medications she documented as given but kept for herself. It was easy. She was a trusted professional. No one suspected. No one checked. For 6 months, it worked perfectly. Sophia maintained her addiction while maintaining her career, told herself she'd quit eventually, when she was ready, when she was stronger. But addiction doesn't wait for you to be ready. Sophia's theft patterns became obvious. Pharmacy audits showed discrepancies. Investigators traced the missing medications to Sophia's shifts and patient assignments. She was confronted, denied everything at first, then confessed when the evidence became overwhelming. The Navy convicted her of theft and diversion, dishonorable discharge, loss of nursing license, criminal record. 20-4 years old. Career destroyed, life in ruins. Sophia served 2 years in military prison, got clean, rebuilt slowly, eventually regained a nursing license after years of rehabilitation, worked in civilian hospitals, never rose above bedside nursing. The conviction followed her forever. She married, had a daughter, Maya, raised her as a single mother after divorce, tried to give Maya every advantage, every opportunity. And warned her, repeatedly, about addiction. Our family has a vulnerability to opioids. My mother struggled. I struggled. You need to be aware. You need to be careful. Maya listened, understood, promised to be different. I know what happened to you, Mom. I'll never make those mistakes. I'm stronger than that. Sophia wanted to believe her. Maya Grant was 24 years old, a Navy nurse at Naval Hospital, San Diego, the same hospital where her mother had been convicted 23 years earlier. She'd chosen Navy nursing deliberately, wanted to succeed where her mother had failed, wanted to prove she was different, stronger, better. She was excellent at her job, compassionate, skilled, trusted, and then she got injured. Skiing accident, torn ACL, surgery, legitimate prescription for pain management. Sophia felt dread when Maya called from the hospital. Mom, I had surgery. They're giving me oxycodone for pain. Be careful with it. Take exactly what's prescribed. Don't refill unless absolutely necessary. I know, Mom. I remember everything you told me. I'll be fine. Maya healed. The pain faded. The prescription ran out, but the dependency remained. Maya had promised herself she'd be different, had promised she'd stop when the prescription ended, had believed she was stronger than her mother. She WASN, single quotes T. Within 2 months, Maya was stealing narcotics from her hospital. Same methods her mother had used. medications marked for waste, patient doses documented but diverted. Easy, trusted professional. No one suspected. Sophia visited Maya 3 months after the surgery. Saw the signs immediately. The slightly glassy eyes, the defensive posture, the way Maya wouldn't quite meet her gaze. Maya, are you using what? No, of course not. Don't lie to me. I know what it looks like. I lived it, Mum. I'm fine. You're being paranoid. Maya, if you're stealing medications, you need to stop now. Before they catch you, before you destroy your career like I did. I'm not stealing anything. Maya's voice was sharp. I'm not you. I learned from your mistakes. I'm different. Sophia wanted to believe her, needed to believe her, but she'd said the exact same things to her own mother 23 years earlier. The pharmacy audit at Naval Hospital San Diego flagged discrepancies. Medications unaccounted for. Patterns suggesting systematic diversion. Investigators traced the missing medications to the ICU, to specific shifts, to specific patient assignments. To Ensign Maya Grant. Sophia got the call from Maya at midnight. Mom, they're investigating me. They think I'm stealing medications. Sophia felt her heart break. Are you? Silence, Maya. Are you stealing? I didn't mean for it to get this bad. I needed them, and I told myself I'd stop, but I couldn't, and now they know. Sophia closed her eyes. 23 years, the exact same hospital, the exact same crime, the exact same daughter making the exact same mistakes. Maya, you need to cooperate with the investigation. Tell them everything. Maybe if you're honest, they'll offer treatment instead of prosecution. They're going to destroy me, just like they destroyed you. They didn't destroy me. I destroyed myself. And now you're destroying yourself the same way. Sophia's voice broke. I warned you. I told you about our family's vulnerability. I begged you to be careful. I tried to be careful. I tried to be different. But it's like I couldn't stop myself. Like I was following a script I'd already seen. You were. The same script I followed. The same one my mother followed. Sophia felt the weight of generational failure. We're cursed, Maya. Our family is cursed to repeat the same mistakes. NCIS investigated Maya's theft operation, found she'd diverted over $50,000 in narcotics over 6 months, used the same methods her mother had used, made the same mistakes her mother had made. The case was eerily parallel. Same hospital, same crime, same evidence patterns. The investigators didn't initially realize Maya was Sophia's daughter. Different last names. Maya had taken her father's surname, different generation, 23 years apart. Then someone pulled historical records, found Sophia Grant's conviction from 1999, connected the dots. Lieutenant Grant, are you aware that your mother was convicted of the same crime at this facility in 1999? Maya felt sick. Yes, she told me about it when I was younger, to warn me, and you still chose to commit the same crime. At the same location. I didn't choose it. It just happened, like I was repeating something inevitable. The investigator's report noted, Ensign Grant's case represents a disturbing pattern of intergenerational criminal behavior. Despite being aware of her mother's conviction and explicitly warned about the consequences, Grant committed identical crimes using identical methods at the same facility. This suggests either profound disregard for consequences or psychological compulsion requiring evaluation. Maya was charged with theft, diversion, and possession of controlled substances. Same charges her mother had faced. Her lawyer was pessimistic. The intergenerational aspect makes this worse. The prosecution will argue you had every reason to know better, that you deliberately ignored the warnings from your own mother's experience. I didn't deliberately ignore them. I tried to be different. I just couldn't. That's not a legal defense. The prosecution emphasized the generational pattern. Ensign Grant's mother was convicted of identical crimes at this same facility 23 years ago. Ensign Grant was explicitly warned. She knew the exact consequences, yet she repeated the behavior precisely. This demonstrates not impulsivity, but deliberate criminal conduct. The defense tried to argue addiction and psychological compulsion. Ensign Grant comes from a family with documented vulnerability to addiction. Her mother struggled. Her grandmother struggled. This is a medical condition, not a crime spree. She needs treatment, not prison. The judge was unsympathetic. Being aware of family vulnerability should have made Ensign Grant more cautious, not less. She had every advantage her mother didn't have. She knew the exact path that led to destruction, yet she followed it anyway. That demonstrates extremely poor judgment. Maya was convicted on all charges, sentenced to 3 years confinement, dishonorable discharge, loss of nursing license. 20-4 years old, same age her mother had been, same crime, same consequences. The cycle had repeated perfectly. The Naval Consolidated Brig in Miramar looked exactly as Sophia remembered from 23 years earlier. Same grey walls, same fluorescent lighting, same visiting room where she'd once sat across from her own mother. Now, she sat across from her daughter. Maya looked exactly as Sophia had looked at this stage, thin, pale, haunted, coming to terms with what she'd done and what she'd lost. I'm sorry, Mum, I know, I tried to be different. I really did. I know that too. Sophia's voice was gentle. But trying isn't enough. Not with our family. Not with our vulnerability. Did Grandma try? When she struggled, she tried. She told me about it before she died. Said she'd promised herself she'd be different than her own mother. That she'd break the pattern. Sophia paused. She couldn't. And she warned me, the same way I warned you. And I couldn't either. How many generations? Maya asked quietly. How far back does this go? I don't know. Grandma mentioned her mother struggling with alcohol and nerve pills back in the 50s. Maybe it goes back further than that. Maybe it's always been part of our family, a curse, or genetics, or learned behavior, or all of it combined. Sophia looked at her daughter. The why doesn't matter. What matters is that we keep repeating it, despite knowing better. I hate that I did this to you. Made you watch me make your mistakes. I hated doing it to my mother too. She died 3 years after I got out. Cancer, but I always wondered if the stress of watching me destroy myself contributed. Sophia's voice was quiet. And now I'm watching you destroy yourself, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. Did you think about me? When you were using, did you think about how it would affect me? Every day, I promised myself I'd stop before you were old enough to understand. I told myself I was strong enough to quit when I needed to. Sophia met Maya's eyes. But addiction doesn't care about your promises. And by the time I couldn't stop, it was too late. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. You did listen. You just couldn't apply what you heard when you needed to. Sophia reached across the table. Maya, when you get out, you need to do something I didn't do. What? Don't have children? Maya looked shocked. Mom, I'm serious. I love you more than anything. But if I'd known I would pass this curse to you, I never would have had you. I would have spared you this. Sophia's voice was firm. Don't pass it on. Don't create another generation to watch destroy themselves. Break the cycle by ending it. Maya was released after serving 3 years. Same age Sophia had been when she'd gotten out. Same ruined career prospects. Same criminal record following her forever. She moved in with Sophia temporarily. Attended mandatory addiction counseling. Tried to figure out what came next. What did you do? Maya asked one night. After you got out, how did you rebuild? Slowly. Painfully. I worked minimum wage jobs for years. Retail. Fast food. Anything that would hire someone with a dishonorable discharge and drug conviction. Sophia poured coffee. Eventually I got my nursing license reinstated. Took 5 years. Petitioned the board. Showed rehabilitation. But I never got back to where I would have been. Never advanced. Just worked bedside nursing until I couldn't anymore. And now I work at a clinic. Make half what I should. Live paycheck to paycheck. But I'm clean. And that's something. Is it enough? It has to be. Maya was quiet. Then, do you ever wonder if we could have been different? If we'd just tried harder? Every day. But I also know that's not how addiction works. Trying harder doesn't fix brain chemistry. Wanting to be different doesn't change genetic vulnerability. Sophia met her daughter's eyes. We're not weak. We're not failures. We're just people with a condition that keeps winning. Then how do we stop it? We don't. We just manage it. One day at a time. Forever. Maya petitioned for license reinstatement. The nursing board held a hearing. Ms. Grant, you were convicted of diverting narcotics from your hospital. You served 3 years in prison. Why should we trust you to practice nursing again? Because I understand my vulnerability now. I know I can't ever use opioids again. I've completed 5 years of addiction counseling. I've maintained sobriety. I've shown rehabilitation. Your mother went through this same process. She was reinstated, and then she raised you with full knowledge of her struggles and the family vulnerability, yet you repeated her crimes exactly. How do we know you won't relapse again? Maya had prepared for this question. You don't. I don't. Addiction doesn't come with guarantees, but I'm asking for a chance to practice nursing with appropriate monitoring and restrictions. I'm willing to accept any conditions the board imposes." The board deliberated, came back with conditions: license reinstated with 5-year probationary status, mandatory random drug screening, restriction from handling controlled substances, required ongoing addiction counseling. Any violation results in permanent revocation. Maya accepted, got her license back, started working at a civilian clinic under heavy supervision. It was better than nothing, but it wasn't the career she'd dreamed of. Just like her mother before her, the curse continued. Even in recovery, even in sobriety, the pattern held. Maya met someone, a good man, talked about marriage, about future, and about children. "I want kids eventually," he said. "Do you?" Maya thought about her mother's advice, about 3 generations of addiction, about watching her mother struggle, and then becoming her mother's struggle. "I don't know if I should have children." "Why not? My family has a history. Addiction, my grandmother, my mother, me. It keeps repeating. What if I pass it to my children?" Addiction isn't guaranteed to pass on, and even if your kids have vulnerability, they could make different choices. That's what my mother told herself. That's what I told myself. Maya's voice was quiet, and we both ended up destroying ourselves despite knowing better, despite trying to be different. "So you're just going to let that fear control your whole life?" "I'm going to let that reality inform my decisions. I love you, but I can't create another person who might repeat this cycle." "You're being paranoid." My mother said the same thing to her mother, and I said the same thing to my mother, and the cycle repeated perfectly. Maya met his eyes. "I won't do it. I won't create the next generation to watch destroy themselves." He didn't understand. They broke up 6 months later. Maya accepted that she would be alone, that the curse would end with her, not through breaking it, but through refusing to pass it on. It was the only way to win. Sophia was diagnosed with liver disease. Years of addiction and stress had taken their toll. She had maybe a year left. Maya cared for her mother in her final months, sat with her, talked about the past. "Do you regret having me?" Maya asked one night. "Never. You're the best thing I ever did, even knowing how things turned out. But you told me not to have children, because of the curse." "I did, because watching you suffer through what I went through was the hardest thing I've ever experienced. Worse than my own addiction, worse than prison, worse than anything." Sophia's voice was weak. "If I could have spared you that, I would have, but I can't regret your existence. I didn't have children. Like you said, I know. I'm sorry you had to make that choice." "I'm not. It was the right choice." Maya paused. "The curse ends with me, does it? Or does the curse include making choices like that?" Sophia smiled sadly. "We're cursed to struggle with addiction. You're cursed to be alone to prevent passing it on. Different manifestations, same curse. At least no one else will suffer from it. That's something. That's more than I achieved." Sophia died 3 weeks later. Maya was with her. The cycle of mother watching daughter suffer finally ended, but the curse itself, that continued in Maya's solitary life, in her restricted career, in her fear of relationships that might lead to children. Different form, same curse. Maya was working at a community clinic, sober for 20 years, living alone, no children, no family. A young nurse at the clinic, Amanda, reminded Maya of herself at that age. Bright, dedicated, promising. One day, Amanda came to work with a prescription bottle. "Hurt my back. Doctor gave me Vicodin. I'm nervous about taking it." Maya felt ice in her stomach. "Why, nervous? My mum struggled with addiction, and my grandmother. I'm worried I might have the same vulnerability." Maya stared at her, at this young woman who didn't realize she was standing at the exact crossroads where Maya had stood 23 years earlier. "Amanda, can I tell you something?" "Sure." Maya told her story, about her mother, about her own addiction, about prison, about the cycle that kept repeating despite warnings and knowledge and best intentions. "You come from a family with addiction history. You're being prescribed opioid. You need to be extraordinarily careful. This is exactly how it starts." Amanda listened, looked at the prescription bottle. "What should I do?" "Talk to your doctor about non-opioid alternatives. Use them for as short a time as possible. Tell someone, a friend, a partner, anyone to monitor you. Be hypervigilant about signs of dependency." "Will that be enough?" "I don't know. It wasn't enough for my mother. It wasn't enough for me. But maybe you can be different." "You don't think I can?" do you? Maya looked at this young woman and saw herself, saw her mother, saw 3 generations of women who'd tried to be different and failed. I hope you can. But hope isn't enough when you're fighting genetics and neurobiology and family patterns that go back generations. Amanda threw away the prescription, used Tylenol instead, suffered through the pain. 6 months later, a different injury, different doctor, different prescription. Maya watched her start down the path, saw the signs, the defensive posture, the slightly glassy eyes, the way Amanda wouldn't quite meet her gaze. Amanda, are you using what? No, just pain management. Don't lie to me. I know what it looks like. I'm being careful. I'm not going to make the mistakes you made. Maya heard her own voice 23 years earlier, heard her mother's voice 23 years before that. The cycle continuing. Not her daughter this time, but maybe someone else's daughter. The curse finding new victims. Because that's what curses do. They spread, they persist, they find ways to continue. Maya attended Amanda's hearing. The young nurse being convicted of diverting narcotics, the same charges Maya had faced 30 years earlier. Amanda's mother was there, looking exactly as Sophia had looked watching Maya's trial. Devastated, guilty, helpless. After the sentencing, Amanda's mother approached Maya. You're Maya Grant, aren't you? The one who warned Amanda. Yes, thank you for trying. It didn't help, but thank you for trying. I know it didn't help. Warnings never do. Not with this. Maya looked at Amanda being led away. Your daughter told me about your family history, about your mother struggling, about you struggling, and now, Amanda, the cycle continues. It always does. Maya met the woman's eyes. Some curses can't be broken. They can only be managed, or ended by refusing to pass them on. Is that what you did? Refuse to have children? Yes, the curse ends with me. Lucky you. I had Amanda before I understood. Now I get to watch her destroy herself the way I did, the way my mother did. They stood together, 2 mothers who'd passed on pain, 2 daughters of the same curse, different generations, same suffering. The cycle would continue, with or without the Grant family, because addiction doesn't care about bloodlines. It finds new families, new generations, new victims. Maya had thought she could end the curse by not having children, but standing in that courtroom, watching Amanda receive the same sentence she'd received 30 years earlier, she realized the truth. The curse wasn't in her family. The curse was in the system, in genetics, in neurobiology, in the endless supply of opioids, and the endless vulnerability of human beings. She hadn't ended the curse. She'd just removed herself from it. It would continue without her forever. Some cycles can't be broken. They can only be witnessed, and mourned, and survived. If you're lucky.